Hey, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. I got some real powerhouses in the building tonight. So just kind of sit back, relax, get you a pen, get you some paper, because I do feel like this is going to be a show to remember. So this is the Art of Transparency Talk Show. I am your host, Makita. I got a whole lot of people with me today that I absolutely love on personally. So this one is going to be really good. So share, and share some more. Invite all your friends. Tell them to come on over on this side because we're going to talk about some good stuff. So tonight we're talking about corporate America versus entrepreneurship. The subject came about because right now with the pandemic happening, we need to know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So some people have gotten new businesses, they've upgraded their businesses, they've gotten nonprofits, they've gotten all kinds of stuff, but did you do it the right way, number one? And number two, what made you and what led you into that, right? So we're gonna talk to these ladies and this gentleman. Like these are like my sisters and my brothers, so I'm all happy right now. So I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves and tell you what they do, and then we'll get into the conversation. In the meantime, share, and share some more. So I'm going to start with Catherine because she is like right at the top of my little windows. She's at the top of my window. So Catherine, tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay, so Catherine McNeil, I'm the founder of CHBM Services. Collectively, that's a body of businesses that supports career development needs for single parents. So there's a nonprofit arm to it. And then there's the profit that deals with coaching, events, and other resources. And then by day, I work in corporate America and HR for one of the largest utility companies in the country. So that's me.
So you're on both sides of the spectrum, corporate and entrepreneur.
Nice.
Oh yeah, honey, you right. You right above the other person that does. Yeah. You know how it shows on you guys' screen, but yeah, they right together on my screen. So Coach Tony, like this is my brother, y'all. I love him. Like he'll drop a nugget in a random conversation, and you be like, "Wait, go back up. What you just say? Back up. You talking too fast." So I absolutely love him. It's been all love since the day I met him. But you know, with everybody on the panel tonight, it's been all love. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, everybody knows me as Coach Tony. My name is Anthony Townsend. In corporate America, I am the head of safety and risk management for a national nonprofit housing developer. And in the entrepreneur world, I have several businesses, a line of black-owned wines, Lisa Libations. I have a not-for-profit. It's been going for about 8.5 years, Safe and Sound. Youth empowerment group. I also am founder of Kinship Villages, which is a community safety consulting firm, and the owner of Make It Look Easy Entertainment. So entertainment planning, artist development, some artist management, the whole nine. And I'm CFO of my 8-year-old's company, Dream and Color.
Nice. You sound like me, like a whole list. Like, do you have to write that down sometimes because you forget to say something? Like, oh yeah, I do that too.
I do. I mean, like, I forgot. Wait. I do. It happens.
Oh yeah, I do that too. Wait, is that it? 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah. 7,
Right.
16. Okay, I think I got them all. That's me. I got hot, y'all. Menopause is not a joke. Y'all see that joke? Like I was fine. I was sitting here just fine, and then menopause kicked in, and I'm about to fall out. Like this is ridiculous.
Girl, listen, that's like this wine and all of that.
I got real hot real fast, y'all. So I'm calming now. So Atlanta, so her company, I'm kind of like, you know, she's kind of adopting me a little bit because, you know, I got a lot going on. So I'm like, hey, did we do this right? Are we supposed to be doing this? So my company is working very closely with her company. So I absolutely love her as well. I love all of these people.
Thanks.
So tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I am Atlanta Beard. I am the owner of Beard Admin Services. What we do at Beard Admin Services, we do everything business startup. We do trademarking. We do nonprofit startup as well. I do proofreading and editing for self-published authors. I also host Birth Your Business entrepreneur workshops. Everybody has a business that they want to birth. It takes a baby. It's your baby, so you have to nourish it. That's why I named it Birth Your Business. I also am the CEO of Pretty Women Series Apparel, which is paying homage to the professional woman, the pretty professional, not pretty with looks, pretty with as in women can do it all and still make everything look pretty, even when it's ugly. So that's why I chose the word pretty. So I just want to clarify that. I also am a radio host personality for Hotspot Radio. So I transformed into Alexis B. That's my alter ego. I have I have a super dope co-host, DJ Los, the host with the most. And then I also am a self-published creator of a business journal, an entrepreneurship journal, just strictly made for entrepreneurs. It's like an entrepreneurship diary. So it's strictly made for entrepreneurs so you guys can vent. I believe writing is a therapy, a form of therapy. I've been writing a journal since I was a little girl. So it helps me with life problems. I figured that I would create one for entrepreneurs because we have some days where we want to tap out and we have some days where we want to curse and we have some days where we just want to.
All true.
We have some days where we just want to refund money because I don't want to be working. So I figured to stay sane in the entrepreneurship field and to also stay professional on a professional level. And instead of lashing out at the client, you just write it in the journal book and you can write whatever you want, however you want. Nobody's going to see it as your entrepreneur diary. So, and then I'm actually out of corporate. I don't work corporate. I haven't worked corporate in 10 years. I come from a corporate background though. I've been an entrepreneur for 9 of the 10 years. So I've actually been pretty good at entrepreneurship for a while without working a regular job. So and that's who I am.
Honey, that whole entrepreneurship for 10 years. Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell my story last because it's crazy. I'm a little bit backwards. Andrea, is it on or an? How do we unmute? Wait, you're muted. There it is.
Have to speak. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's pronounced Andrea. My dad is Andre, so I was named after my dad, Andrea. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so ecstatic to be here on a panel of heavy. The last one of you guys. So thank you guys for having me. I'm just like Atlanta, but to sum it up, I do paperwork. The hard part of running a business. Chefs, they don't find it hard to bake things or to cook things. Laborers, they don't find it hard to lay drywall. Accountants, they don't find it hard to do a balance sheet. But a lot of people find it hard to do the paperwork aspect of business. So that's where I discovered from being a community organizer here in Inglewood, that kind of transitioned me from a community organizer into a business owner, because I was like, wait, like everyone wants grants and loans, but no one's paperwork is in order. So that's what navigated me to be like, wait, I'm kind of good at this. How? Because I failed at it for several years. I actually became a convicted felon in 2012, which forced me to become an entrepreneur. I was in my last semester of graduate school for my master's in criminal justice at Chicago State University. And I was like, okay, now that I'm a felon, what am I going to do with myself? And so I was working out at the time, and I'm like, this is really, this is really helpful. It was like therapy for me. So that's when I found my first LLC in 2013, Forever Fitness Chicago LLC. And it took me 3 times to get my registration paperwork together. And then after that, I had just been encountering other people who like, I want to do a 501c3. I want to be trademarked. I want to be this, And that's what, from experience, like I didn't go to business school. I didn't go to any formal training. Like I said, my degrees are in criminal justice. But from navigating the process with paperwork, that's what made me say, other people need help with this stuff too. If it was difficult for me, it's sure difficult for other people, and that's what made me started GoIntel Pro. GoIntel Pro, which is named after COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO. If you guys are over 35, you probably should know about COINTELPRO. So in the 60s and 70s, the government under J. Edgar Hoover, they created a program called COINTELPRO to go into the Black community and break it down, targeting people such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X. So I said I wanted to do the opposite. Go Intel Professional. So that's Go Intel Pro. I go into the Black community and I help build them up, tell them about business. So that's where I got Go Intel Pro from. So that's what I do. I do paperwork all day, every day.
Yes.
We need paperwork. We do.
All day, every day. And just to piggyback, I have a degree in criminal justice cybersecurity, but I also have a degree in business administration as well. So it was just kind of like, I don't even need criminal justice.
Right. I don't use my degrees either.
You use them, just, not in criminal justice. You can keep us out of the criminal system, okay? You using them.
Yeah.
Right. Brittany, you are next in line, my love. Tell us about you and what you do.
Well, first, thank y'all for having me. I'm super excited about being on this panel. So I'm a hybrid. I have a corporate job and I am an entrepreneur. So I'm the founder of Bijou Health, which is actually a medical practice management company. We help physicians practice and thrive independently so they can sidestep that having to become an employee of a health system in order to survive. And really the reason behind that is because that's what I've done for 20 years, but I found that there was things that weren't being done that should have been done, or services that providers should get in certain subset of providers, mostly women and minorities. And so I wanted to offer those services to them so that their businesses could grow or they can get to the next step of their business. In addition to that, I have 2 nonprofits, one that's kind of a startup and one that I've actually had for maybe 8 years now. It's called Know Your Worth. And it's just really speaking and paying it forward to young girls so that they don't have to make the mistakes that some of us have made, so that they do understand there's a better way of doing things. And my startup is called The Bars Between Us, and it's actually to combat the school to prison pipeline that so many young Black Americans face. That's just really near and dear to my heart. So those are the 2 things. And working with 2 other queens, 2 very talented people in their fields, on a podcast that will be coming out called Makeup, Medicine, and Melanin, where we will talk about all things Black women. It's going to be great.
That sounds great. Okay. You let me know when that come out. I need to be sitting right here.
Absolutely.
I need to be sitting right here listening.
Right.
Okay. And last but not least, and then we're going to get into some conversation, y'all, because I believe that this conversation is going to get really, really good. We got some corporate America people, we got some entrepreneurs, and then we got a mixture. And then I'll tell you guys kind of where I'm at with this whole corporate and entrepreneurship. And yeah, it's not. Dr. Tammy, like I met her on a whim, y'all. We just happened to be working. So we were Facebook friends first, right? Don't even know how. Don't have no clue. However, and then when we met, like face to face, it was a brunch, right? Oh, like we were both on something that was supposed to happen you know, unfortunately it couldn't happen. So we kind of got together, and I was just like, I need to be in the room with these people. Like, these are people that I need to know. So I went to the brunch, and that's how Dr. Tammy and I met. And it was like, from day one, it was like, yeah, that's my sis. She's sis. She keeps it real. She gonna love on you and tell you how you wrong at the same time. But she's still gonna love on you after she, you know, kind of give you that, like, nah, that ain't, you know, we're not doing that. Okay. So Dr. Tammy, tell us who you are and what do you do? You know, you got a list like everybody else does.
First, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I just love the vibe. The energy is so positive. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys tonight. Plus, I'm sipping on my wine, so I'm just chilling. I'm enjoying myself. But I just love it. I appreciate what you're doing. Other professionals together. So I think that this is dynamic. It's so important for us and our communities, definitely for, you know, for all of us to be able to share our gifts. That's what it's all about. So right now I'm just kind of in everything. And I'm learning that other, you know, other populations, other people that don't look like us are doing that. So we got to get caught up in that. So I love how everybody's talking about all the things that they're doing. So right now I'm in both. I've been with DCFS, I would say almost 19 years. And then I have a nonprofit that has cultivated, I would say, 1,000 women in 7 different cities, which is the Chicago 300 Black Women. So I founded that, which is near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love that. Thank you, boo. And I love it. And it's just something that's just kind of grown just from a grassroots kind of perspective, and never thinking outside of the box for it to grow the way that it has, but it has, thank God. And I also have 2 private practices. So my focus is mental health and depression, especially in the African American community. You know, we know right now that's one of the things that we are talking about more, which is a great thing. So, but yeah, that's kind of me. I'm DCFS, private practice, and nonprofit. So just kind of across the board, like everybody else, just kind of got my hands in some of everything, but it's a blessing because in the midst of this, I've been able to lean on other stuff besides our 9 to 5, which is amazing. God is good, honey. You got to have your coins kind of all over the place so you can keep getting coins. And that's what I've learned.
Okay. And I'm sure we're going to talk about that. So I'm a little bit backwards, right? I started as an entrepreneur. I owned 2 hair salons at one time. Very successful hair salons. But just like most people of color, unfortunately, my ducks weren't in the row the way that they needed to be. So I ended up losing one of my salons due to not being able to get a license for zoning. Like, how do you not have a license on the wall? And people were still coming in. And I was like, as long as I'm doing hair, I'm going to be open. No. So long story short, I ended up selling the successful salon and moving to St. Louis, you know, family issues, things of that nature. So I sold it. So when I went to St. Louis, I got into corporate America, worked for a huge health insurance agency, or company rather, not agency, health insurance company. And I was like, as long as I can get this particular check every 2 weeks, I could care less about entrepreneurship. However, my heart was still unsettled. I got a check, I made good money. However, it was doing nothing for my soul. It was doing nothing for me. So I came back home to Chicago and still in corporate America, but now I'm branched out, and then I started a business which turned into a not-for-profit because that's really what it is. So I'm working both sides. I'm working in corporate America still because now I work for a school, a charter school here in Chicago, and I do my not-for-profit. And now I'm actually really for real launching the publishing company. So I got my hands kind of like, I got, you know, like they say, them coins everywhere. So I just make sure that my hands are everywhere, and I still do hair. I still do travel agency stuff. So I got my hands in a few things. However, my absolute baby is the Art of Transparency. That brand in itself, whether it's the talk show, the tour, the organization, all of that's my baby. So I love corporate America because it gives you that 9 to 5 money. However, with the pandemic, which is the conversation that we're having tonight, you find out how that can stop in an instant. And it's nobody's fault. You didn't get fired. Nothing happened. The school had to close. The world closed. So now what? So that's kind of where I was with it. Like, now what? Now what do you do when all else fails and corporate America is not working for you as it was? Not saying that you were fired, but it's not as it was. So now we working at home in front of this Zoom, right? When the pandemic is over, we got to find a new. I'm not Zooming. No, Zoom is done. Okay. So how do you guys feel about the pandemic in corporate America, and what has that done to really push you towards your entrepreneurship? I mean, I know that we're all entrepreneurs in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Some are full-time, some are part-time. However, what has that really done to push you? Like, this is gonna go this way for me. Go ahead, Andrea.
I quit my job during the pandemic. I'm just keeping it real. I hadn't worked since 2011. So in 2019, the end of 2019, I did take a job at a non-for-profit so that I can learn the ins and outs of how a big non-for-profit is ran, because I've ran small non-for-profits with Organizing Inglewood 5K. So I wanted to see and step out like, well, how does corporate America run a non-for-profit? But the first week of the pandemic, I quit my job and my business right back up. It expanded because of the pandemic. But I quit my job because I wasn't able to be creative at my job. In addition to when you're an entrepreneur, I know a lot of people say we do it for money, but as an entrepreneur, no, there's some passion, there's some heart behind it. It isn't strictly for money like people may think, you know. So when I saw that the non-for-profit that I was working for, not only did they not value me, but I felt as if they were exploiting Black people in our pain. So I quit and I didn't look back, and my business has boomed. I've started another business during the pandemic. So it's been great for me personally.
Who else is gonna chime in on that one? Because I can tell you, I learned who Makita was in this pandemic.
Down
with me. Say that again, Dr. Tammy.
I want to jump in real quick because it was hard for me, because everything I do with my nonprofit and my private practice was, you know, when we come together, everything was in person, when we fellowship. And so I had to literally pivot like immediately, because you can lose your clients, you can lose your, you know, the people that you acquired over time. And so it took me some time to just kind of, you know, recognize that I had to do things differently. And it actually made me start looking at detail just that much more, paying more attention to, you know, who's connected to me, who's not doing anything, who can help, who's actually more, you know, creative. How can I be more creative? Really use your gifts, you know what I mean? And so, and then I also learned nobody owes you nothing. And this time, everybody's trying to figure it out. So in that time, you have to be grateful for the people that do appreciate you or are part of it. Because don't nobody have to help you with nothing. And I had to learn that, well, I mean, I've always knew that, but it made me to be that much more appreciative of those that are still with me, and recognizing that it's okay for the people that walked away. It's okay, because people trying to figure out their own life. So in this time, when you see everybody, you know, talking about, ain't nobody checked on me, because they trying to figure out their own life, they ain't thinking about your ass. Excuse me. For real.
Period.
Nobody's thinking about you.
I said that.
Trying to figure out how to pay my
I said that because a lot of friends are on Facebook like, she don't check on me and that's not my friend. No, baby, this is completely new to everybody, right? This is completely new to everybody. They at home with husbands they ain't seen in weeks, months, like,
on no level.
Can we just Can we get through the pandemic and then we can be friends again? Okay, thanks. Yeah. Coach Tony, I want you to kind of jump in here because I know for you, because I know what you do with the kids and like his safe and sound is amazing. Y'all, I love them babies. I absolutely love them.
Thank you.
They all kind of like teenagery, but they real kids. You know what I'm saying? They want to do kid stuff, but they teenagery. But you can tell that they love Coach Tony. They're just like, whatever he say do, that's what we got to do. Let's go. What else we gonna do? And then they have their own minds and things too. So I absolutely love it.
I love my
I want you to jump in and just kind of talk about where you are with the whole, you know, being in a pandemic, because yours was also touch. You know what I'm saying? Being in one space and touching and all of that.
I mean, so for me, you know, we just switched tracks, you know, and honestly, it was kind of seamlessly for a few different things, right? I believe, you know, I'm not afraid of making adjustments, right? So, you know, I believe that if you are a business or that's service based, you know, you might have to switch to a product. You know, if you product based, you might have to switch to a service, right? So a lot of the stuff that me and my young people were doing, you know, we had to make adjustments, right? So we had to stop our monthly poetry cafes. We kind of debated with doing it online, but the market was crowded, right? So we didn't want to compete with that, right? So we still doing we were still pushing this is the 4th year, I think, for our scholarships. You know, so we were still pushing that. The kids still meet. They all meet on Zoom, just the same way we do. So they're planning graduation, you know, virtual graduation ceremonies and virtual proms and baskets. So, you know, they still active. They still learn to be creative. But like I said, and it's been like that with almost every business. We just switch tracks. You know, the pandemic actually helped boost Lisa libations, right?
Yeah, because we need it. Yeah, we
you know,
home like, hey,
everybody
somebody might not make it out.
You know, I think I took the biggest hit because I had to put a lot of my events on hold. I had back-to-back events lined up, so that kind of took the biggest hit. But it gave me the opportunity, like I said, when you whatever you're doing in service, you switch to products, right? So a lot of the artists I was booking and working with and all that, it gave me a chance to sit down and talk to them and say, you know, hey, do you got your stuff in order, right? And since I couldn't work with everybody, I started creating ebooks with, you know, hey, you know, $9.99, I can shoot you this here, you know, and I don't have to be every
to do it
at one time. Right? So yeah, I just made adjustments, but you know, I definitely didn't stop.
Yeah. Catherine, what are you doing in this whole? Because I know you got a lot going on with the CBM services, CHBM services, and then you know you were doing a lot of traveling with the corporate America job. So how is that affecting what you got going on?
First, I'm gonna say I am grateful because I sit in kind of a unique seat. Because of the fact that I work for a utility, we're an essential business. So from a corporate America standpoint, I'm untouched. I just had to switch to working to telecommuting, which was something that I would do anyway, because like you said, I was always traveling. So in that space, I've been more creative and more productive on my 9 to 5 since I've been home than I have been the entire time that I've been there the last 4 years. So that's been interesting. But a lot of that has had to do with, to Tony's point, I've had to pivot my business. I'm service-based. So I can't get out in front of people. I can't connect with people. I'm not hosting events, right? The radio show coming out, sure. And we have to kind of shift that up because it can only be a handful of us inside of the station at a time or whatever. So I have products. I put out 18 products over the last 90 days and have started pushing to be able to kind of reinvent myself and to build the momentum and to build my very own client base, like around these things. Still career development, still dealing with, you know, the fun around parenting and understanding whatever, but just from a place where you can go to my website, grab what you need about, you know, for resumes, grab what you need to teach you how to build a LinkedIn profile, whatever it is that you're trying to do, and keep it moving. So everybody's still getting tapped. It just looks a little different than it did originally.
That's where I'm at with it.
Right.
Now I have people kind of, I've always done book coaching. However, now it's like, unfortunately, I can't give you all of this for free. Unfortunately. So now people are like, I need to write this book. I need to write this book. I need to write this book. How do I tour with my book? So now it's more service-based, whereas I was events-based. In and out of town, going to different cities. Well, of course, the tour itself was kind of like, y'all ain't going nowhere, have a seat. So that's what made me go back into the talk show, because we still have to stay in front of our audience. We still have to do what we need to do, because in 2021, or when the world opens back up, we're still going to be going. So I also had to go and pivot different ways to do stuff, and then make sure that publishing company was on the right track. Yeah, you can always go out here and charge people to give them this information, but is it a business? Did you do what you needed to do paperwork wise, my paperwork ladies? Did you do what you needed to do to make it a business, your business? Because Dr. Tammy talks about it all the time in our groups in 300 Women, when we have our nightly discussions or whatever, you know, like somebody can swoop in and take everything that you've ever done. Just because your name is on it, don't make it yours, right? It's ways that you can combat that. You have to, and otherwise, you work 5, 6, 7, 8 years to get this brand off the ground. Somebody comes in, they take everything that you've ever done, and now you have to cease and desist. Whoa, that's mine. And they like, well, okay, like it's mine now. Like I legally went and got it. So
that actually happened to me.
That's happened to me actually.
So I was going to ask you guys, it happened, okay.
Yeah, that's happened to me
scaring
twice.
me when we get
It's happened to me twice. I had a group of women that started a nonprofit or started a women empowerment group, and they actually sent out 500 letters to over 500 something women, saying that they were going to honor them with our name, Chicago 100 Black women, on their paperwork. Yeah, that. And so luckily I had trademarked both the Chicago 100 Black women and Chicago 300 Black women. And when I talked to the young lady who actually started this whole thing, she told me that she didn't know anything about me. She didn't know we had this organization, yada, 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 on and on and on. So we ended up, you know, I had to send her a cease and desist. I mean, I tried to handle it, you know, professionally. But of course, sometimes you got to get a little hood with people.
Right.
I built that. You can't do that. But the damage was already done, right? So now they're the queens of Chicago, some other mess or whatever, right? Great thing, but that's what you should have did in the beginning, right? Then I had another group of women that did the exact same thing. So I tell women that even if you're trademarked, you still, what I think that people don't recognize is that even if you're trademarked, you're obligated by that office to randomly, routinely check and maintain your trademark. People think because I get trademarked, you're just trademarked. No, because guess what? If you do not fight for the rights of your trademark and someone else is using it maliciously, you lose the right to your trademark.
So let me tell you
that's a whole nother nugget.
People don't know that. Just because you're
So Tony, don't look like that, please.
I never heard. I don't. They come along and
you
they
are
use your stuff for
obligated.
long enough, and then it's like squatters. They just squatted on your trademark.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real
Wow.
because we're living in a culture where people see something that's dope and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it too." You know,
Yeah,
and
and
that's the culture that we live in, unfortunately. And it's okay that you're inspired, but you can't
Right.
steal my shit.
Right.
Period, Pooh. See, she brings out the period Pooh person. I just can't stand it. She brings that person.
Okay.
Period Pooh.
So let me tell you about my experience. With,
Come on, boo.
let me tell you my
I mean, all y'all don't even understand, like, because I know how hard I work for the art of transparency. I know how hard I work for Invisible Daughter. Like, these are my babies. Like, don't do that. Because then we
I
So
had
come on, what's it?
especially our church folks telling me not to post it on Facebook and not for me to say anything about it. Oh no, ma'am. Oh no, ma'am. Oh yes, I will. This is mine. This is my baby. I done worked hard for. Oh yes, I will. Oh yes, I will.
absolutely.
Oh yes,
How did you, Andrea? What did you go through? What was your experience? Because I actually was around for Dr. Tammy's experience, and I was looking on Facebook.
Girl,
Like,
all y'all, let me tell you what I went through with Trey. I never in a million years thought that someone wanted to steal a 5K race. Okay, so people know of me because of Inglewood 5K. It was the first ever closed course 5K race on the south side of Chicago and also in Inglewood. So here I am building it from scratch, blood, sweat, and tears. One day I saw the Bank of America Marathon on TV and I was like, well, why don't they run through our community? So I created a run like, okay, well, forget Bank of America Marathon. We're going to have our own. So I did it. The mayor of Chicago ran it for 4 out of 5 years. That brought the city together, the whole nine. So I didn't have Ditch the Waiting Guns trademarked at the time. I didn't have it. But what I did, like Dr. Tammy said, you obligated to check on your own trademark. I didn't have a trademark, but what I did was Google my businesses every single day. Okay? Googling. Who wants to know about me? So I Googled my business and an Eventbrite came up. And I'm like, hold on. I didn't put up an Eventbrite. I put us on Groupon, but I didn't put us on Eventbrite because I knew it was too much going on Eventbrite. So a not-for-profit right here in Inglewood, I'm calling them out. Forget it. I Grow Chicago here in Inglewood, along with Lululemon, the $2.6 billion company. Lululemon, the one who sells $96 leggings. Lululemon plus I Grow Chicago went to my website, inglewood5k.com, copied and pasted everything from my website and put it on Eventbrite. We're trying to help people participate in Inglewood 5K. If you wanna volunteer or if you want to donate here on this Eventbrite. But if you want to participate in the assets to run it, then go to inglewood5k.com. Wow. They tried it. They was hella bold with it. So when I saw it, it was 2 weeks before Inglewood 5K 2017. It was 2 weeks before the actual event. And it messed me up in the head. So like Dr. Tammy said, we handle it hood. I went around there, That's all I'm going to say is I went around there.
And I'm just going to leave it.
I went around there. Then I contacted a lawyer, okay? Jackson Law Firm, Black-owned business, by the way. I contacted Jackson Law here in Chicago, and they sent the cease and desist order. And so they took down their Eventbrite. But what I learned from it, because again, Inglewood 5K wasn't trademarked, and Inglewood 5K derived from Ditch the Waiting Guns. When I thought about the 5K, I'm like, well, no one's gonna run it just because it's called Inglewood 5K. I needed something sensational, so that's where Ditch the Weight and the Guns. The weight because of obesity in the Black community and gun violence in the Inglewood community. So I said weight and guns. And so when I asked the lawyer, like, thank you. So when I asked the lawyer, I said, well, I want to sue them. Lululemon is a $2.6 billion company. I Grow Chicago had $1.2 million on their books last year as a not-for-profit. I want something. They didn't even respect me enough to call me and they got my phone number. If you copy and paste my website, that's a problem. So my lawyer said, well, are you trademarked? And I said, no, I'm not. I'm just a 501c3. So when I said, well, is it too late? She said, well, Inglewood can't be trademarked because it's a location. 5K can't be trademarked because it's a distance. But what you can trademark is digital weight and guns. The name of my non-for-profit. Mm-hmm. So by that time, I'm not gonna lie, I got worn out. I got tired, and I said, you know what? Y'all want it so bad, y'all can have it. But ain't nobody did the race since then. So that was my experience with trademarking.
We have someone that is wondering what the topic is for tonight. Thank you so much for your question. The topic is corporate America versus entrepreneurship. However, these are all the things that can go with entrepreneurship, because a lot of times we think we can just go out here and get these jobs or get these businesses. Like, okay, I'm going to sell leggings tomorrow. So we go and get this shipment of leggings, and we are now standing or, you know, build this website or whatever have you. So now we're selling leggings. But what did you do to make it a business other than buying a shipment of leggings, right? I mean, I know that's like kind of far-fetched with the leggings, but that's just kind of, you know, just giving you an example of all the behind the scenes things that's happening with being an entrepreneur. Corporate America, I have no problem with it. The people on this panel has no problem with it. However, during this pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people were not able to get, what is it called, unemployment. Like for me. I work 2 jobs, right? I work for Lane Bryant, which I absolutely love. I'll be glad when y'all open. Yeah, I said it. I'm an assistant manager at Lane Bryant, so I'll be glad when they open. And I also work for the school. So yes, I'm still technically getting paid. So I couldn't go apply for unemployment with Lane Bryant when they furloughed the whole company, right? Because technically I still have a job.
Yep.
So now what? What do I do? Because if you got 2 jobs, you needed that 2 jobs, right? No, I don't know anybody that got 2 jobs just because, I don't have nothing else to do. I work 2 jobs, I go to school, I got my organization, I got all of that going on. So to get a second job was not my, like, okay, I ain't got nothing else to do, because yeah, I do, like sleep. Yeah, it's wonderful. You should try it. So that's what the topic is tonight. Entrepreneurship versus corporate America, or corporate America versus entrepreneurship. But with that, there's so many behind the scenes things. Brittany, I want to get you in here, right? Tell us, what is it that you are doing differently during the pandemic that you weren't doing prior to? What's different about your business?
It's a whole lot different. I feel like I had to get serious about it, right? So I had this job, like cushy corporate American job, and I'm health administration, so it's essential, right? But when you don't have clients and your boss calls you and says, hey, you know, you may have to furlough some of your people, you may have to do this. I was like, well, I already got a company. I just need to start taking it serious. You know, I was like, I take on doctors as they come to me. I'm not out looking for them. I wasn't doing any of that. I was like, okay, I better do something, because this job is not promised. Like, no job is promised, right? They can walk in tomorrow and be like, we no longer need your services. So it took me about a week, and I was like, I already know what I'm doing. I looked for the name. I built my own website in a week, built the name. Wow. I paid for my business documents. I went and got a CPA, and I was just like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And that's how I am with anything. If I'm going to do it, I'm going all in. So and then from there, I started joining different groups, and I closed 3 clients in a week. So because I've been in sales because of healthcare administration, so I've had that physician relationship, and I knew how to maneuver, and I know that the product I'm going to bring to people is better than, I'm going to say, pretty much anybody else. I'm willing to put that out there and say that. But I stopped watching TV. I cut back on my TV. I was like, if I'm doing anything, I'm reading about how to be a better leader, how to be better in this skill, better at that. And everything is just about progression. Like, I knew I had to take my business serious, because your salary is your salary and that's it. But if you want other income, that's on you to do that. And bring that. So I was like, if anybody's gonna secure the bag, that's on me. It's not a job. So that's what I did. I was like, I don't have time to play. You know what I mean? So
I'm so glad you said secure the bag. I wrote, I posted on Facebook maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Don't remember when it was. I was like, we're so, because I said it too. Like in 2019, going into 2020, I was like, yeah, I'm about to secure this bag. I'm gonna make sure that I got this, and this in place, right? I'm about to get religious. I'm about to get, that other part gonna come out real quick, and we gonna touch it and go on. I went and got a second job, because I knew I wanted to pay some stuff off. I want to buy a house, right? It's just certain stuff that I want to do. I wanted to pay my truck off, which is done. Hallelujah. Y'all don't even know how that feel like paying ooh, baby. I wanted to pay my truck off. I wanted to pay some bills off. I wanted to shop. I wanted to be able to take my babies out of town when I felt like it. I wanted to be secure financially, right? So I was like, we're going to secure this bag in 2020. And I felt like everything that I had done came to a halt.
Stop. Right.
But I did not. Okay. Again, we about to go there and we're going to jump on and jump off. What I didn't do was have that one-on-one time with God. Like I was busy. Like I needed to go to this job. When I left that job, I needed to go to Lane Bryant. When I left Lane Bryant, I came home, showered, and I went to bed so that I could do it all over the next day. I didn't have time to have that intimate. And if I woke up at 2:00 in the morning, maybe I got a whole attitude. Like, I don't want to have a discussion with you, dude. I want to go sleep. Hello, I'm sleepy. So I also feel like this pandemic happened for a reason. Like maybe it was a reason to spend more time with your creator. Maybe it was so you could slow down and figure out, you know what, corporate America, it's for me, but I need to do something with my business.
More.
I need to do something that's for me more. I need to buckle down. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with my tour, I can admit it because I've admitted it to my tour speakers. It wasn't that I didn't connect with them, but now I have to talk to them one-on-one, like, hey, how are you? What you doing? Like, are you good? You okay? Because it wasn't none of that. It was like, what time you need to be here now? You need to do this, you need to do that. We're leaving. What time is your plane? What time is your flight? I got, you know what I'm saying? So it gave me time to really talk and get to know my speakers. It gave me time to sit and make sure the paperwork was in order. It gave me time to develop spreadsheets that I didn't have. I just had a bunch of folders this high that when I needed something, I'm looking through all of these folders or whatever have you. Now I got spreadsheets. Oh, you paid this on this date and this, da 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 da.
Right.
It gave me time. Right? It gave me time to sit and actually do something that was needed to be done.
Right.
So with that being said, do you all feel like that's what happened with you in any way, shape, or form?
Absolutely. Like, I feel like when that happened, I've had to figure out securing the bag meant I'm the bag. I need to secure me. I need to get me together. I need to get my routine down. I have to figure out what my goals are, because literally my day was go to work, make sure I'm doing that, go to the gym, make sure I'm ready, make sure I'm doing all these things, but I wasn't doing anything to propel me forward or to solidify my own mental well-being and all those things. So it really like stopped me and woke me up, as I'm sure it did for a lot of people, or it should have.
And I gotta piggyback that too, because I've always kind of treated my businesses like a side hustle. I didn't treat them like
you can't, 9 to 5. You gotta back up. You did what? Because that's what we all were.
I treated them like a side hustle.
Ready. Yeah, and it's not. It's not. We're those of us that's in corporate America, we're building their dream, right?
Absolutely.
Even if it's a charter school or whatever, we're building their dream. We're giving them. You have a routine, right? Say, for instance, you work 9 to 5, you're up at 7, you're getting the kids out the door, you're getting dressed, you're going and sitting in this office, you're actually focused on their work for 8 hours a day. Their work for 8 hours a day. Then you come home and give your work 2 or 3 hours.
But that's the funny thing, because remember when I said like I sit in a very unique position. My team at work supports what I do as an entrepreneur. Like when I was like fundraising to publish this book, everyone on my team contributed. Whenever something comes up, if I'm doing a fundraiser, like how we were doing the different fundraisers for April and May to give back to the essential workers and stuff like that, my team financially contributed, and that job as a whole supports like what I do for single moms and things along those lines. So that was another part of this conversation that kind of shifted for me, because as I'm talking about this is what where my heart lies, it was other people that start pouring into it that made me be like, you need to do more with it and start to make this what it is. So as soon as we came home, it became a 50-50 split. I knew what I needed to do to balance my life while I was home. And then I started figuring out, like, I am ashamed to say, I'm just now getting serious. I'm serious now. Like everything has my undivided attention. And those of you who are connected to me on social media, you see I'm marketing myself more. I ain't never talk about my businesses. They were in my taglines. It might have been like, my cover photo or something like that. But Catherine wasn't promoting like that. One, it feels odd to me. Like it's very uncomfortable to self-promote like that. I don't come from that background, but that's a very real part of it. Look at me like that. Look at me like, what? Look at me.
Yeah.
Like that.
I'm sorry.
I feel that judgment coming from this side of the screen.
But you know what? It's crazy that you say that, because I've always been promoting, right? I've always promoted, but it was, and I can admit it. It was like, hey, I'm having this event, come buy a ticket. Hey, come buy a ticket. Hey, come buy a ticket. Hey, you buy a ticket. Now it's like,
an honorable mention.
This is what I do. This is who I am.
Right.
This is something you really want to get into. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, hey, come buy a ticket. It's, hey, I'm Nikita. Let me tell you what I do. You know what I'm saying?
By the way,
promotion has completely shifted, because how do you buy a ticket to somebody you don't even, like, who are you? Like, when you,
Yeah.
all I see
You gotta
is
build trust.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it shifted me in that aspect. Like, so now I'm telling people, and I'm in inbox, I'm all DMing, but I'm not DMing like, can you buy this ticket? I'm more DMing like, hey, I saw that you do X, Y, and Z. I do A, B, and C. We need to communicate. You know what I'm saying?
There
so
you
we
go.
can build that trust against, with each other. And I am more about collaborating than I have ever been before.
Well, I've always been about that. Yeah.
I can't. Well, see, I've been burned, so I can't collaborate with you when you gonna go and do the same thing I'm doing. Yeah. Now you can do the exact same thing I'm doing. You can watch me. You can do it all. You're not the artist transparency.
Right.
That's right.
Okay.
What God has given me, He's given me, and I had to learn that. Like, I was so caught up in, well, what if they take it? What if they do this? And what if they do that? Let them.
Right. Yeah. Here's
just like Nike made gym shoes. I don't know who was first, y'all, but then Puma came around.
Right.
But I think what happens with us is, we're all sitting on a form of greatness, right? So that means that God has downloaded something great in your life, something for you specifically to do. And so with that being said, He does nothing little. He does everything with is destined to be great, right? So if you're a part of greatness and what you're doing is something that's amazing, of course it's going to be mimicked. That means that you are pouring a seed into someone, and if they have started something because of you, you will forever be blessed because that's your seed. Right, and that's the part that I miss.
Amen.
When I started, women empowerment, this was 5 years ago, and nobody was doing, honoring of anybody. One other organization was, which I can't, 40 under 40, and her and I work together. I know she's been doing her thing. So ain't no competition with us. We know each other. We go way back. But all these other women kind of came after it. And at first I was a little intimidated by it because it was like, you come to my event and then you turn around and do exactly what I do. I was offended by that until my spiritual mother told me. She said, how are you intimidated by something that God gave you? That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to duplicate. It's supposed to do greater. It's supposed to be able to, you're not going to be the first person to do anything, and you're not going to be the last. And at the end of the day, for us to take in stuff and feel like it's mine, no. But the only difference is you can't steal my stuff, though. That's the difference.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. There is a difference. And there is a line. Don't
but
cross.
like when I talked about this part, you and so many other things, and I'm sure each one of you all, have had someone to mimic something because you're sitting on something so amazing and so great, and God just pours some great things in us, and no one can take that away. And what happens is when people see it, some people are just a little too intimidated or just not willing to say, you know what, sis, I learned that from you. You know what I mean? And and it's unfortunate that we move in our community like that and that we flow like that. But we should be able to say, I should be able to call Catherine and say, I like how you did that. Can you show me that? And if you charge, let me pay you for it. Instead of me just going on your page and stealing your stuff. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to call Athena and say, listen, you doing something great. Can you show me how to do that? What's your charge for that? Instead of me just creeping on her page after this, and then she come to my page later, got to sold all her stuff.
Yeah.
All these people crazy, but this is what
Unfortunately, it happens a lot.
Y'all know it's true.
It is. Go ahead, Atlanta. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, I haven't had the pleasure. It's not a pleasure. I'm speaking sarcastically. I haven't had the pleasure of having to deal with that. Thank God.
That's because they know your paperwork is in order.
Oh, I've been on your page, baby. Beard, I've been on your page.
Baby. Your paperwork can be in order, Catherine, and baby, that's
yeah.
I think they're the ones who put the paperwork in order.
Yeah, I'm constantly updating.
But it's still, people still. Luckily, I had Rosina Pierce, who was an amazing attorney, who actually called me and let me know what was going on. I didn't even know what was happening. Thank God she was just amazing. And she still is today, and that's why she's doing so great in everything that she's doing. But and I love how you just said that you didn't have the pleasure of that, boo. I love that.
So, Atlanta, tell us what your suggestion is. Like, because you and Andrea, you all do this. Like, this is what you do. You all do, both of you all do LLCs. Right. Both of you all, like, you all are amazing. Like, the people on my panel tonight, I've either worked with them or I know that they do amazing things. Like, you can't, one thing about Makita is, and a lot of people say, oh, Facebook is just Facebook. No, ma'am. Facebook tells a lot about you. It tells a lot about you. If you're always bickering and battering and all that, you will, So just be careful of what you place on Facebook and your social media speech. Definitely. So what is your suggestion to us newcomers or those of us that have been in entrepreneurship for a very long time, but we may not have known to register our name or make sure things were correct? What is your suggestion?
Well, for me, my business, obviously I get paid for what I do. So that's not an issue. I never really started the business to just for money. It was all about education for me because in our communities, we're not educated. So it was more for that's why I started the Birth Your Business Entrepreneur Workshop, because I would have a lot of people, in my inbox or DM asking me a lot of questions. And it wasn't so much that I want to keep charging you for the questions. I'm like, why don't I just create a class or work where I can teach you how to do it? And I'll teach you why. So I not only teach people and educate you, I educate you why you shouldn't do that. So, so in my classes, we start off with the corporate side of it. And then I start off with, now I'm about to be 100% real on how this works. So I go through the process of what fails, and even down to who's not going to support you. The people that you think should support you are not going to do that. So my thing is this: I just open up people's eyes to different stuff. Stop listening to your homies. Okay, that don't work, because your homies 9 times out of 10 don't even read a caption on a Facebook post. So they cannot tell you anything on and on. So
You better
Right.
come through
and
here.
girl, listen, the one pet peeve that I have with business is the lack of people that read things. And it's like, I understand everything is at your fingertips, everything is convenient. However, you still gotta read something. And I'm like, I wonder if y'all passed. Do I need to start a class on literacy? Like,
Reading
do I need to teach
comprehension.
that? Seriously, because some people are visual. So I learned early on, some people are visual, some people read and comprehend. Some
Right.
people you literally have to jump up and down and show them how to do it. And that's okay. So I kind of created the thing to cater to everybody. So
Right.
if you more visual, or you want to hear me tell you something, I don't mind talking to you all day. I can talk to you till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
However, if you don't read stuff, then we have a problem, because you're not going to comprehend anything that I'm saying. So I
Right.
get a lot of clients who are starting the process backwards with their paperwork. And I'm letting them know why it doesn't work that way and why you shouldn't. So when you're dealing with stuff like the EIN number, I particularly don't work that way. I work with trademarking first, so we can get that out of the way. And
Right.
then we go into reserve the name that you just want to trademark until that comes back. So there's a process. It's a step-by-step process. You know, I like to call myself the human form of LegalZoom, because LegalZoom is only a la carte. I do everything in package. You know why? Because you can't do one without the other. It's no purpose. So I don't want to charge you all this money when you're gonna need all the stuff anyway. I would rather just charge you a flat fee to do everything. So instead of getting your EIN number first, these are the reasons why. The reasons why you shouldn't get your EIN is because, first of all, it's a federal document. It's Uncle Sam, and you have to use your social. And if you don't create the LLC, you are committing fraud on that application anyway. So on there, they tell you, is
That was
everything
the
true to your
nugget.
knowledge? Whatever they say,
Didn't hear that. That was the
verbatim.
nugget.
So,
And what if somebody
so
else
and then
marked it? So, you know, I love that.
absolutely,
We need
not to mention, yes, yes, not to mention, a lot of people don't even know what type of entity they should be. So if you fill out an EIN number, you have to select an entity. If you select sole proprietor, but you become an LLC, that EIN number is null and void at that point. Now you have to go back. The IRS don't make it easy for you to switch out EIN numbers. So if anybody didn't know that, if you get an EIN number, you're a sole proprietor, you're gonna be LLC, that is null and void. You might as well create another one. Not to mention, why would you be on the hook for taxes with your social for a business that don't exist? You're not even making money. Eventually, if it's dormant long enough, the IRS will audit you, thinking you had money, because you could be like, well, I never made money. I just held on to the EIN number for 2 years. They're like, yeah, right. You just did some under the table stuff. So now they're all in your business. Don't allow them to come through your business door until they're invited.
So Atlanta, I mean, because I always start with the business structure
Uh-huh.
and then go to EIN. Like I still don't understand. Why would you put the trademark first, right? Because
Right.
at that point you're still in the business is in its infancy.
Didn't I tell you?
I missed it.
Well, the reason why the reason why I trademark first is because for me personally,
Okay.
I actually sit and manifest my business ideas. I don't just come up with something one day and just be like, oh, I'm finna trade. I want to start that business. No, I need to really figure out what my market is first. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna make me money? If I'm in it just for the money. If you've got some hidden agenda with your business, you need to figure out if it's gonna work. So when I do it, I do trademarking first because I know that this is my baby. That's it. And so I need to secure my baby. Just like,
Right.
you know, you get the birth certificate when you first had that
Right.
baby. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
got to secure that baby. That's your baby's name until they change it later if they feel like it's ugly. But whatever.
Right.
So that's just me. I encourage people to, if you have an entrepreneur thumb, manifest your business first. Write down everything. Brainstorm first. See if it's a market for it first. Find out if your homie is stealing your ideas. Why you don't be talking to people about it. What Tyler Perry say?
Right.
Don't be talking about it. Just bring it to fruition.
Just do it.
So when you bring it to fruition, now people like, oh, that's dope. And then it's dope because you actually took the time to nourish it and to, you know, birth it properly. You know, you be 9 months, people be maybe smoking or drinking. What they do, they completely stop. So I think you should do the same thing with your business. You should stop and you should actually manifest your business. And then that's why I said the trademark. I don't particularly get into the logos for trademarking. The names, yeah, because logos change all the time. You might want to revamp your business. So I revamped my business once in the last 9 years, first time last year. But it works because it was just time to rebrand myself. So as it evolved, like I evolved in business. Like this year with the pandemic, my business actually skyrocketed, to be honest. And I think people went into a panic. And even on my consultations, I want to know if you went into a panic or this is something that you manifested first.
Wow.
Because I don't want you to just jump into there. I can take your money if you want to just give it to me. Fine. You know, but I'm not about that. I want to make sure everybody in our community, because I want to eventually one day see Black Wall Street slide back in here somewhere.
Right.
So we all need to be educated. You know, it's you're gonna make the money if it's God's plan anyway. However, you know, so that's pretty much why I'm about education first. Educate yourself first. If you don't understand something, take something like my class. I still take classes. So
and
And
can
I
I
think
jump in?
that's
Can I
big.
jump in with you, Boo? I think that I love how you said that we need to educate, you know, our community.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, so many of us are afraid to actually say to someone, I'm not aware. I'm not educated in that aspect.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think
I
that
need help.
that because, you know, we've had so many that have reached out and been shunned or overcharged, you know, because of a group of women in the hair industry that are trying to learn, like some of the newcomers, some of our young babies, where you have some of the women that are more seasoned are telling these babies $500 and $1,000 for just, you know, training them on maybe one point or one level of something, which is ridiculous. So if you pay for something, like I've spent a lot of money in my educational training, but I'm not going to overcharge somebody $10,000 for something that I, you know, whatever the case may be. I just think that we overexpose, we overdo things at times. But I also think that unfortunately in our community, so many of us are not afraid to say, you know what, I'm not educated on that point. I do need help. I do need somebody to show me. I do need somebody to hold my hand and walk me through it. And, you know, and then if you get burned by one, it's 5 other people who out here can help you or who will say yes.
Absolutely.
You know,
I have 95% of my clients are clients who are double paying me. They're paying me again for something that they already did. Listening to the homie or reading 50 million different articles that say something totally different. Not doing any research, not taking any classes. They'll be like, well, you charge $50 for your workshop. I give you a booklet. You get an hour consultation. Like you get a lot of stuff. I give you like we in here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's a lot for you to
for
learn.
$50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just stuff like that. We have to get people out of the mindset of what's too much when you'll go and you'll buy a celebrity t-shirt for $50 and my shirt $20 and you don't want to pay for it. I'm like, what? We got to get away from that.
No. I definitely agree with you about that because I've had women that don't want to pay, you know, for anything. And I know that I overgive. So I agree with you 100% on that. That a lot of us won't pay for things that are nuts and bolts of in order for you to get you to your next level. Now, I'm all about So I definitely agree with that. But I do have a problem when there's a system of people that, let me give you an example. Like, say, for instance, if I wanted to learn how to do lashes, I go take a class with somebody. I done paid $500 for this class. Now I'm charging you $1,500. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
So yeah,
and that happens a lot. That happens a lot.
Definitely.
Now you want to charge me $1,500, girl? Get up out of here. You're not even an expert. What are you talking about? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That don't make sense. Now you have a consistency of mess. Does that make sense? Now you done train somebody
a whole lot of
to go out.
Absolutely. And that's why it's educational. That's why you got to educate people. And that's why I started the DIY services for my company too. Like, you don't have to pay. You can pay me to show you.
Right.
We can Zoom and Google Hangouts all day. Before the pandemic, I was sitting next to you like a kid, like a teacher in school, to help you through these problems. I walk you through your process. You can pay me as a DIY. You can do it so that you can understand what each line on the application stands for. Why do you need to put that there? Why is it this way? So I wanted to create that because that was my slick way of getting people to educate themselves. You don't want to take my class? I don't want to take your class. I just want to pay you to do it. No, just pay me to show you.
Right.
You can pay me to show you. It's cheaper too.
That's
good. Inexpensive. If you just want to, give me your money again, that's fine too.
I'll take it, but that's not the point.
Along the way, if you're my client, along the way, I stay on you. A lot of my clients will tell you, I'm on your heels. Did you do this? Did you do that? If I see a post on Facebook about your business after you became my client, I will call you and correct you. Hey,
yep.
You need to do that. Why would you say that? You need to put your price up there. I do this Entrepreneur Chronicles thing I try to do it every single week to give business tips. And my tip last week, I believe, was about people posting. You will post a big pan of food. It look good. I don't know what your business, whatever it is. You be like, oh my God, I want that. But then you got to go through the comments. Now you got to ask how much it is. How do you order it? And then you taking 5 hours to respond to these people. You should be Johnny on the spot if you're going to do that. And then it's like, well, I'll inbox you. What's the secret? I'm confused.
She's like, what's the secret?
What's the secret? Put your stuff up there.
You don't put that charge up there and going on.
Exactly. I want to know what I'm paying for. Most people only care about the price. They gonna buy your product if they're interested in buying the product. However, I don't want to hunt you down and give you. Guess what? I'm just gonna go to the next girl. But you do the same thing. I'm just gonna buy her pan of chicken.
Because she said on her post, I'm selling pans of chicken on Sunday for $35. Yeah. Meet me on 89th and Cicero. She didn't, all of this.
Because even though they don't read, they gonna see it.
You need to have details. I don't need you to jump in my inbox. I don't need. True. I don't need you to jump in my inbox to tell me what your price is. Because that means I gotta wait again. Some people not. I'm a very patient person, so but some people not patient. Somebody posted something and it took them 5 hours to respond to them, and they was like, "Oh, girl," they didn't even respond to them. And I was like, "You just lost a customer." And then the next person that say something about you, if she end up knowing that person, they be like, "Don't go to her. She unprofessional. She don't got her stuff together."
Yeah. And then that happened yesterday.
Conversation there.
I just saw that happened. Somebody was I don't want to say what the product is because they might be watching and I don't want to throw shade like that. But somebody was asking for a service and they were asking for a service, and like 4 people commented underneath and was like, "Do not go to A, B, and C. They messed up. You gotta. Right. Me too. I was just like, and that is exactly what you're talking about. Like
wow.
I don't particularly put my prices out because everybody's project is different when you're dealing in my field. So that's why I encourage them to book through my website, not in my inbox. Okay, we're not even gonna touch on that. But don't be in my inbox. Don't inbox me at 12 o'clock at night because I don't want to talk to you at 12 o'clock at night. Not saying I'm shunning you, but I'm down for the count. Like, most of the time I'm up working anyway, but I need to focus and concentrate. My house is quiet.
Right.
And everything is coming down from your day. You're decompressing. So don't jump in my inbox asking me questions. Go book a consultation on, and you got me for a whole hour. You can pick my brain for a whole hour. Then I can find out what you need from me and tell you how much it's going to cost you so that you can be comfortable with it. And it comes with my educational part of it. Like, you might not be ready because you be like, well, dang, I ain't know all that, so I'm not ready yet. I don't want you to just dropping cash and you're not ready.
But we gotta be okay with that. I had to learn that some people just are not, they think they are, but some people just are not ready for what you offer. And I had to learn that too, that people say that. I have women reach out to me all the time that want to join, but they're not willing to do the work. Like, this ain't just no bunch of women just come together, actually doing things. You know what I mean? And learning and education is a big tool. And so, and I had to be okay with that, no matter how many times I've been frustrated by it, but you have to be okay with the fact that some just are not ready to take their businesses or even themselves to the next level. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? And I had to really take that in. Like, damn, why am I getting so offended by it? If you ain't ready,
you know what? I just don't feel like people should spend money and they're not rich. Like, for instance, like, you pay into 300 women, right? It's you know what I'm saying? It's a membership. You pay into that. But my speakers, you pay into that. Why not get all of your money's worth? Like, I don't have $100, $200, $300 to just kind of give you you to do work.
There's a veil to entrepreneurship. Like, I was teasing Andrea because we communicate on Facebook often, so she was probably shocked by the fact that I don't self-promote, or I hadn't, or whatever. People don't really know what goes into being an entrepreneur. There's this illusion there. It's kind of like Oz, because they see you making money and they assume that you're making money and you're living this mystical life and it's all wonderful and you're rubbing elbows with great people. You get to be on panels like and it's just like, oh my God. They don't hear those stories about those sleepless nights, about how you were bootstrapping your business and you were taking money out your corporate job to make sure that your baby and your dream stay afloat. How you can go on vacation. You got buns in your hair because you can't get your hair done because you trying to pay for other stuff.
You gonna put that $200 in this business? You
know what I'm saying? Like, they don't.
Yeah, and they absolutely don't realize how. Yeah, and they don't realize how happy an entrepreneur is. Like me, when I purchased Adobe, I was like, that was the highlight of my life. Okay. I needed the whole program and I finally got it. Okay.
It was okay.
So I bought a new laptop. These are highlights in entrepreneurs' lives. You making the money and doing all that stuff, but we got highlights that people be like, that's boring. No, man, that's exciting for us.
That's exciting.
When everything goes smooth, because when no Murphy's Law is happening, that's a highlight for me. When I have no Murphy Law days, like, oh my God.
Let me tell you, my highlight in 2020 was getting fitted shirts that didn't fit like gloves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was the highlight of my tour. Like, these shirts fit, y'all. They fit. We got a whole nother level of happiness, right?
Yeah,
because it's a grind. If you don't,
you can chime in because I know you got a shirt company and you got, with the kids, and so I know there's a level of, yep, I bought that, and most people be like, you bought what? Don't nobody care. But entrepreneurship is not just, I don't have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and put clothes on and go to work. Well, let me tell you a little myth.
You still up? Because I'm up early.
You need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, brush your teeth, take a shower, and sit at your computer and get something done.
Yep. Exactly.
So you might not be going anywhere, but you still need to.
There's something
you still need to have a set time. So don't nobody, but your kids and all of that. Hey, this is work time. I'm still at work. Right? Like, we still need that time to say, you know what? I got 50 million emails that I need to go through. I got another hot flash, y'all. I got 50 million emails that I got to go through. I got to do all of that. So let me wake up at 6. While these kids are still asleep, they're going to be asleep till about 8, 9 o'clock, depending on, your kids. You got a couple hours where no kids, no distractions, none of that. You and your computer taking care of business, because at the end of the day, business still needs to run as a business. How do you think the 9 to 5 that pays you so well, how do you think they got that? It's a structure.
Exactly.
You have to be structured.
And time management.
Discipline, structure, time, all of that still goes into entrepreneurship. So don't think you can just be an entrepreneur and be braless all day and do nothing.
That's not right. Not to mention, you need to take care of yourself health-wise. You need to keep yourself healthy. You need to keep yourself healthy, and you need to stand firm on taking a vacation. Every December, I'm off. I don't care what's happening. I'm off work. That's it. Don't call me. I'm not emailing you back until I get back. I make sure my clients know, and they're very aware of that. If it's nothing that I need to alarm you about, if it's something that I do see in my email, because I'm still checking email, but I'm off from really
just on your phone.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's something important, then I'll break if it needs to be broken, because I don't never want my clients to be looking stupid at the end because because of my shortcomings. So, but for the most part, I have to decompress. I have to take my own vacation. I don't care if I stay in my living room all day. I'm not talking to you though. I need a break.
It's about boundaries.
Just like you get PTO at work, because I used to work corporate. I used to get my PTO, and I took my PTO. I didn't care what y'all was doing at that job. So
they're gonna still run. So you have to run your business as if something. Here's my question, and we're going to go around, and you're going to give your last comments on this. Here's my question: if something happened to you tomorrow, can your business still function?
My business can still
because honestly, and it's not throwing anybody under the bus, but Jules and Food for Less, all of those corporate businesses, quote unquote, if Sally Sue, the CEO of those companies, fall out tomorrow and say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, or whatever the case may be, Food for Less is not going to fold. Jules is not going to fold.
Right.
Are you in a position where you're not going to fold if you get sick? COVID ran through rampant. So what are we doing to make sure that our businesses are still surviving?
Yeah. So that's
my question to the panel. What are we doing?
That's a real good point, because I think that's the difference between being an entrepreneur and being self-employed. A lot of people kind of
come on here with them two words that we put together so very well.
I think mistake them. But I'm not there. Not in all of my businesses, right?
Me neither.
COVID taught me a lot, right? COVID taught me a lot. So I think we're working on automating, like I said, make it look easy with kind of like the art development stuff with the clothing company, even with the wine. But I think Safe and Sound, like I said, it's been around 8.5 years. I don't know if I take 90 days off, if I take a quarter off, I don't know what's gonna happen, right? So I ain't there yet, right? But it is definitely something that everybody should be thinking about,
Yeah.
I think the same thing, because God gave me a vision. I won't reveal the whole vision because it's not time, but I have a vision of 20 states or 20 cities. So I'm thinking to myself, Makita, you going to 20 cities it may not be feasible with you going to 20 cities. So how is it that you can make sure that those 20 cities are still functioning without you?
Right. Well,
I'm not the art of transparency. The art of transparency is all of my speakers. So I need to make sure that we're still functioning if Makita gets sick, Makita miss her plane. So that's where I'm at with this whole pandemic. I need to make sure audit transparency can function if I'm not completely there in the building.
I think
Go
for
ahead,
me,
Dr. Tammy.
it's more so like legacy. It's just moving in
Yep.
legacy. I want, I want to, well, first of all, my experience was I got sick when I first I had been to DCFS only a few years and I got sick. I actually had a heart attack. And so, I had to go to therapy, all of that all over again. And, at that time, I recognized the way they were rushing me back to work. I recognized that I had to make a decision whether I was going to return or just quit, or they were going to terminate me basically. And so, and then at that very moment, everything changed for me because you can't have anything to have that kind of power and control over your finances, your life, your health, what's going to happen. First thing I started thinking, I pay my mortgage. So everything changed for me. So ever since I started building Chicago 300 Black Women, I've trained Deja in everything. Everybody that's connected to me, my entire board is my family. You know what I'm saying? My mom, my daughter is, you know what I mean? Just like everything connected to me. So that way, God forbid something happens to even my mom or me, Deja, my stepdaughter, my family, can continue to move forward. That's the whole thing. Everything that we create should be something that it would exceed you. You know what I mean? Everything. And so that would be that. And then private practice. So what I did was I just hired other women and other people that, have their degree and their license in, counseling and social work. So that way it can still thrive no matter who it is. And these are all, young women that I, went to college with, women that are colleagues, people that have their own practices as well, just kind of that sense. So I just kind of built it around that kind of sense of, I wanted to still thrive no matter who, what, when, because I wanted to be around no matter what. You know what I mean? So legacy will be Chicago 300 Black Women. My private practice will be the legacy of mental health. So that's it.
So
I'm on here. Go ahead.
For me, I've started partnering with the youth in different high schools to intern them, to teach them my trade. Even if my company folds, then they'll know and carry on the legacy as she spoke. You creating this legacy. And then once my business grows further to where I want it to be, I wanted to go ahead and partner with a silent partner, so my portion can still take care of my grandson at some point. So that's something that I'm working on right now to try to figure out how to do that, so that if somebody bought my business right now, I still get a percentage where it still goes to my grandkids. Right. So I wanted to be able to do that because we're not a major corporation where they can just, the CEO dies and then they can just appoint the next person in line. So it doesn't work that way in entrepreneurship. You have to have some type of plan in place. That's why they tell you it's good to get the IRA account so that you can have some retirement going on as well. However, but me dealing with the youth, I want to teach the youth my trade and things that they can do now that will make them money, residual income, with their phones. So I'm going through some things right now where I want to start teaching the youth on some things I've learned how to make residual income with the phone. So they never put the phones down anyway. So it's just like, why not invest in websites and apps and stuff like that? So that you can make money directly from your phone. You on the phone all the time. At least you can make some money while you on Snapchat. Okay, I'm just put it out there. So
That's amazing.
So so again, the whole education piece. It's coming back for me to be able to the legacy with the education part. I want somebody to take something from what I taught them and push it into something else, even if it's not my trade, something else. I've dealt with mentors with mentoring, and all my mentees are going on to college, and I've gotten a few phone calls that was kind of crazy, like, well, Miss Lena, you said this, because it was always Miss Lena. So it's like, Miss Lena, you said this, and I'm like, oh my God, these kids were listening. Right. So that for me will, if something was to happen to me right now, and then I'm trying to get my son into the entrepreneur spirit, not so much as my businesses, but he will learn how to be his own entrepreneur, and take care of himself and not have to work for somebody else ever again.
Right.
So, but do it right. I don't want him to block blessings. I'm trying to teach him how to do it and not block blessings at the same time, because young people get a little sidetracked, and I don't, I want him to focus. Like, it's real out here,
I
man.
completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Andrea did have another phone call, guys, so she had to jump off. Because usually this show is an hour. However, I don't want to leave anything on the table, right? As they say, the money on the table. I don't want to leave anything on the table. So we kind of went over. So thank you guys for sticking in there with us. We are almost done. Our last little piece, like I said, is just what are you doing to solidify your legacy, or what are you doing to make sure that your legacy or your business survives? You get sick, you know, God forbid something happens to you. Then what? What happens to your business that you've spent all this time birthing and nurturing, and does it just kind of die with you? That's not, that's not what I want to do. So Catherine, what is your take on what are you doing to make sure that your legacy still goes, or it still survives?
So that's why I have the product line now. Because I was the product. So if I couldn't go out, if I couldn't speak, if I couldn't train, if I couldn't deliver, then there was nothing happening. And I work a full-time job. So during the day, I can't do those things anyway. So there were conversations that I was already having with myself on the back end. And then once the pandemic hit, it was like, well, it's time. So you got to figure this out. So what are the ways, to Lena's point, I'm about that education piece too. You can pay me to do your resume. You can pay me to build your LinkedIn, sure. But I'm not gonna always be around. And I know other people charge too. And I know that typically it's not worth what other people charge. So how about you let me show you? And that's why I started building that product line. For $45, you can go on my website and teach yourself how to build a resume. And you can keep watching that video over and over again, over and over again, and keep practicing that. Same way with a LinkedIn profile, or you can pay me to do it that one time, or then it's gonna cost you like twice as much, whatever the case may be. So it's up to you. So now my books, those products, or all of that stuff will live on. I've, restarted, invested in my stock portfolio and rebuilding that. Because again, to Lena's point, you have to have those multiple streams. Corporate America gonna have to kick me out because I gotta.
No, that's right.
And I love my job. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I work doing something that I wouldn't want to do as an entrepreneur. So I am consistently evolving and learning in that space because I work in leadership and professional development. My passion is that career development standpoint of it, and working with parents and especially single moms. So I'm fed and I'm developed in different aspects. So I'm ultimately fulfilled in that 360 viewpoint, right? So the only thing that would suffer is the t-shirts, because I just started doing that. And that's not a big part of it. But everything else, I'm able to make money in my sleep now. And that was the end game for me to that equation and to be able to make money in my sleep. So now once I build my clientele where I want it to be, it's over.
Right.
When you said t-shirts, I was thinking to myself, like, if I never sell another t-shirt, but I sell my books that then teach you can get through it too.
Right.
The t-shirts can sit on the shelf if that's the case. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I feel about my journal, my entrepreneurship journal.
I think we all have products that can kind of sit on the shelf if they need to, but we also have products that, these are the products that really need to go. These are the services that really need to be pushed. These are what needs to happen so my legacy lives on. So what are you doing, Brittany, to make sure that your legacy lives on? What are you doing?
I think I need to piggyback off of Dr. Tammy. So right now, my businesses aren't where they can function without me, but I'm thinking longevity, I'm thinking legacy. So I'm working right now to build nepotism so that I can be like a Chase Bank. And my kids can have that. That will live beyond me. That will live beyond my kids, my grandkids, hopefully.
Right.
So that generations from now, Bijou Health is huge in the healthcare industry, and know your worth and bars between us is something like they're going to say, my great grandmother really fought for this, or really changed this, or made this. So right now it's long nights, long weekends, and grinding, but it's so worth it. The happiness I get from what I do and what I know it's going to do for somebody else is beyond anything I could imagine, right? So you think that, oh, being an entrepreneur is going to be all these great things, and it's not. It's a lot of heartaches, headaches, but the joy it brings back to you, you know what I mean? And building this foundation, like I'm teaching my sister what I've done for 17 years so she can come into my company, teaching my cousins eventually, so that I can take the next step of my journey, which is getting out and speaking to young girls and saying, you could do this. You don't need somebody. You could put your name on the check. You could sign up. Right. So longevity, that's the game for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to maybe, you know, I'm thinking the mate that I have now, I believe that some kind of way he would push my legacy. He would keep the businesses probably going too, depending on. And then I have some dope sisters that will probably keep this line going, maybe. You know, and it's some things that we need to talk about. So I'm thinking maybe something along that, if I really wanted to be passionate about the stuff lasting forever.
Yeah.
I got some dope people that will fill in.
Though. We have to have that circle, right? Because I'm with Dr. Tammy and along the lines of Coach Tony, my children are on my board legally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I make sure that if something happens to me tomorrow, I got a will and all of that good stuff. And we're not talking about that part of it. We're kind of we're talking about businesses. My children and my mom is on the legal paperwork because they are part of the art of transparency. If something happens to me, I need them to keep this going. And because I'm so passionate about it, they're like, if I let this die, my mama's gonna haunt me in my sleep. Yeah, I will. Yes, I will. Don't let my baby die because you being lazy. Don't do that. Another part of that is I want to leave with, now y'all already know, the audience already knows that anytime that I have some people on, and it's this amazing, because again, we've gone over our hour. And I never really do that, but that's a whole nother part of owning your own show. Stop allowing other people to own your show. It's yours.
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. Ownership.
Yep. You're right about
to own
that.
my own shows. I did, you know, my broadcast in wonderful settings. However, when that hour was up, they was like, so you got some money, or you got money, or you finished? You know what? We're gonna wrap this up. So I want to put out there that when the world opens back up, these amazing people that have been on this panel, please understand that I'm going to get with them because they are my friends and they love me. We'll do where you can actually sit and ask us questions, because I want, as everybody on this panel, we want to educate you, right?
Absolutely.
They have educated me. We have educated each other. That's what this is about. This is about the fact that I want your business to prosper, right? We have businesses. I get it. We have things happening. But if you don't have that paperwork in order, baby, you are going to wake up one day and you don't have anything.
Yeah.
And I personally had to learn, your paperwork is what saves your business. Your paperwork, like, we want to just, you know, again, order these clothes, order these leggings, and then put it on the website like, yep, I got leggings for $29.99.
Yep. And you see, on my shirt it's tagged with my trademark.
See what I'm saying? Like, we have to know without a shadow of a doubt that our businesses are businesses. Because anybody can order a shipment of leggings, y'all. Anybody, as you can see, these lashes and the hair, you order this hair, now you selling it, right? And I'm not knocking anybody's business, because if I did weave, please believe I would have a hairline. But I don't do weave, so it would kind of defeat my purpose. But anybody can go to a website and order, especially with these whole Facebook ads. Maybe you can order 3 full dresses for $20. Okay?
I want to get into that
I got on one right now. And it fits well. I just want y'all to know you got to order 2 sizes too big. But hey, that's another conversation. But anyway, I want to leave you guys with this, because I absolutely love my panel. And I really thank you guys for even wanting to be on the show. Because when I tagged them, they was like, yeah, what time? When? We, you know, like, when you're good to people, people are good to you, right? And my circle, right, of entrepreneurs and friends and things of that nature, we don't play no games. And I'm not going to have anybody on this panel that I have to question, like, she has said that, or should he have said that? You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna watch and you want that information. So these are people that I have worked with, worked for, worked alongside. Like, these are people that are really about their business, and they're about raising people. You gotta raise the bar to fool with these.
Right.
Like, and I'm being honest. You gotta raise the bar, because again, just putting her out there because we have that type of relationship. And even my bro, when I say something to them, they like, so how did it work, Makita? Like, did you think about that before you put that out there?
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
And I love it. You know what I'm saying? Because Coach Tony, I'm just gonna say this part and then we gotta go. Coach Tony saw something that I put up. So he inboxed me. He was like, so sis, who owns the rights to that? So I was, we started talking, dialoguing, and he was like, can you just make sure your contract says exactly that? Because you know what I'm saying? Hats off to you, high five, boo, but that wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
And writing contracts for a living, boy, I don't care if it's your mama. You better make her sign a contract.
Everybody, everybody didn't want.
I'm telling you.
Everybody.
Coach Tony was like, and I could see him looking, right? Because he's, that sounds good, Kita, but that ain't gonna work for me.
Yeah,
good luck with that, though. I love you and good luck, but that's a no for me. So I'm saying all of that to just say, the people that's in your circle, if they're not pushing you forward, they're holding you back.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And that's just the bottom line. If they're not pushing you, they're holding you. Do not allow people in your immediate circle to hold you. I want people that know more than me. If I'm the dumbest one at the table, I'm at the right table.
I'm all right. I was just gonna say, you're at the right spot.
I'm at the right table. If I'm the smartest one at the table, it's time for me to get up. And I'm not saying I'm leaving my friends behind and they're not my friends. All I'm saying is we're in a different space. I need to be in a space where let me be the dumbest at the table so that I can learn, so that I can grow. My growth didn't come because I knew everything. My growth came because I had people at the table that pull my coattail like, hey, we ain't doing that. Stop that. We're not doing that. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys. I absolutely love all of you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys, baby, these are my coattail pullers. These
it's all love. Thank you so much for having us.
Even Catherine didn't call me a couple times like, so Makita, about that, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's no, girl, what you on my phone for? We're not doing that. We're too old for that. We're too professional for that. And if these are your friends or these are your people in your circle, they should be able to say, you shouldn't have did that. Or, you know what, I liked when you said or did that. If they can't do that, then you might want to look in the mirror and figure out who, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's some self-reflection. Right? Because we still need to self-reflect. So I won't hold you guys no longer. I thank each and every one of you for being on my show
No,
tonight.
thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Thank
you. We
you.
I
appreciate it.
appreciate you.
this
And guess
platform.
what, y'all? I'm saying it, so they got to stick to it because they really don't care. They be like, Makita, I don't care what you said on that show. It's a no for me. So I'm going to put it out there. We are going to do something in person as soon as the world opens back up, because I want you to be able to touch and talk
Come
to
on.
each and every one of the people, because
Let's
it's so
do it. Let's
important
go.
to
Let's go.
learn. It's
What's
so
that?
important to really just kind of touch and agree, right? These are
Yep.
my accountability partners, right? Because you got to have more than one, because one person may not have caught it because they was busy doing their own thing. But somebody caught it on this live, like, wait, right. So we'll have something important in person, just so you can kind of touch and hear more in depth. We're going to have tables where you can go to each table and talk to that person about what they're doing, how they're doing it. And it'll come soon, okay? I've always kept my word, because business is business, right? And if you don't keep your word, you know, what is your word if you can't keep it?
Yep.
So thank you guys for joining. Have an amazing night. Dr. Tammy, I love you, my love. And Lena, I love you, and I will see you on Tuesday.
Yes,
Bro,
ma'am.
is Two Fish open? Because I'm still waiting on my two fish.
It is.
You said
You
two
know
fish.
what I'm
They
talking
open
about.
for takeout. They
Uh,
open for takeout. You know, they're
Brittany,
my
we
people.
gotta get together, my love. We got to get together.
Absolutely.
We have to get together. Catherine, you already know. We go clean.
Yeah.
So I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. My audience on YouTube as well as Facebook, I thank you. Please share this out. It was a lot of nuggets given out tonight. And these folks ain't done, y'all.
Thank you for having us.
That's the circle.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
having me.
Queen. Thank you,
Thank
though.
you. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, ladies.
Good night.